I needed to create customer base. So that's why I created events. So if I cannot find customers, then I will make customers. To be an entrepreneur, you need to be creative. You need to have crazy ideas. So that's why. For me, I do the marketing. I all the banners and all of the marketing campaigns. I do it. There are a lot of YouTube tutorials. You just have to really invest in it. Go for the free ones. Go for webinars or even Spotify. There are a list of digital marketing webinars there. So research, research, research. That's the foundation. Yeah. So it's not difficult. You just have to find the right team. That's my advice.
Right team. There you go. Right team. So I'm reminded about that when you say right team and being a solopreneur, because most of us during the pandemic, there was a saying that the pandemic triggers us to be an entrepreneur because of the need to have something to put in our mouth. Yeah. So some of us will start as a solopreneur, and then what can you say about these businesses wherein during the pandemic they started, they come up with many ideas as a solopreneur. Then after the pandemic, when it subsides, easily all the passion also subsides. So what can you say about that mentality or mindset?
Yeah, I always believe that if you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go further, then you have to build a team. So it doesn't mean you have to have a team of 10. You can have a team of 2 or 3. So before, ActiveHub started with only 5 of us. So me, Rex, and the 3 coaches, and 6, Tata. So after that, now we're a team of 12, but we are already nationwide. So I think for me, for solo entrepreneurs, my advice is to just keep going. If you can, or if there is, you will know the right time to hire people. So you will really know that because the cash flow of the sales. So you just keep going. The difference between a solo entrepreneur and an entrepreneur with a team is that as a solo entrepreneur, you don't have any commitments. You can just if you don't want it, then you can just stop. But if you have a team, you can just tell the team na, okay, delete na lang ko, mag-close na lang ko karon. And then wala na tayo sweldo. So, madole ko na. So that's why. Yeah,
the accountability,
Yes, that's the accountability and the responsibility. But for me, the interesting thing about entrepreneur and business is how you impact creating jobs for other people. So it's really, aside from the products or the customer satisfaction, it's the jobs that you have saved. The reason why I created this event is we had a lot of displaced workers in Lapu-Lapu that we had hired for part-time because we were making masks that time. Yeah. And then it's really hard to let them go because imagine, we only have a core team of 50 and we hired another 50. Imagine if we're gonna let go 50 mananahe, then that's 50 families that's gonna go hungry. So that's why I created this event for 2 reasons. One, to create for the participants to be happy, and one, to create jobs for the displaced workers. So so
amazing.
But if you will really go, I started Active Woman as a one woman show. I just did the shipping and all, and then the marketing. But eventually, you will ask for help. You will know the right time. If you can see the cash flow coming in, even though if it's not really full time, you will eventually just know. Like for Active Hub, I just eventually know when is the right time to hire people. So as long as you
Mm,
keep the expectations at
yeah.
first, you just really have to discuss the expectations and what's needed of him to perform or what's his task, then you're good. And always have paperwork. I've learned that the hard way.
Yeah. So I'm not that adept entrepreneur yet, but I'm learning some of the techniques about entrepreneurship. And when you say about expectations, some other entrepreneurs say that just keep your expectation low, and some say that don't have your expectation. The expectation should be out of the window. So where are you in that angle in
For
terms of
me,
having a business?
um, for me, if you want your business to soar high, then you have to have standards. So your team will be your shadow. So if your team has low standards, then it will reflect on you that you also
Mm,
have low standards. So
exactly.
you have to let them see the vision. Let them see the vision that where your company is heading. Um, you let them understand that why are you doing this and why where we're getting this kind of sales, but our profits are low because of this. So you need to handhold them, especially when you're new to the business. Um, you, it's easier. It's easier when you manage. This is actually based on my own experience with Smarties, because
Yes,
Smarties is
yes.
already 100 employees. So
Mm,
what I've learned from Smarties, I'm applying it to Active Hub. So I told Rex that if your team goes to 10 employees, then that's the time that there will be um, problems along the way, because it's easier to control a small group. So you can, if you're still starting, then it's easier to coach them what's expected of them. Always be upfront. Your employees sometimes do not know what's happening
mm,
about. They do not know that. All they see is just the sales coming in. They don't
mm.
see what you're spending or what's your operational expense. They don't care about that. So you just have to let them understand, especially when you're still new. You let for Active Hub, I show them the numbers. This is our sales. This is our sales, but this is our expenses. How can we control this? How can we save from our expenses? Because for them, for Active Hub, I'm doing profit sharing, so they're very meticulous already on the expenses. So they will get more profit share. They need to control on the expenses like bond papers.
So, so you think, do you think, ma'am, I will just stop you for a while for that. Do you think that showing them the matrix of how the highs and lows of the business and the cash flows, it's helping them to get motivated to do more for
Yes,
the vision. Okay, so you
yes,
can continue.
the company. I mean, the employees just need to understand or see the bigger picture, because sometimes they can be misguided, or sometimes they will see that, oh, si ma'am sige lang shopping, si Juan. Yeah, but you have to let them understand that, hey, this is your sales. Sometimes they
Mm-hmm.
see your personal money that you're spending. It's part of the sales, but no, you have to be transparent with them. But eventually you will learn. I'm always here. You can always ask me, because I would be happy to share. Like before, when we were still starting, I always ask my CEO friends, my clients. I ask them about the business side. So I've learned a lot from them. So I'd be happy to pay it forward as well. I'll be happy to share my experiences and what are the expensive mistakes that we had.
Yeah. Let's go about this um making your passion as your business and starting a business, and then the passion will just develop. So how does it works for you? Is it coming from a passion then turn into business, or a business doing the business and then the passion just dance to the while you are in the business?
For me, I think you have to have the passion, because when you have to have the passion. My husband always say to my employees, what do you want to do until you're 60, until you're 50?
Mm.
So you have to have the passion about putting up a business, because when push comes to shove, you're really tired. You just
Mm.
have to remember why did you start this business? What's your
Your why?
advocacy,
Yeah.
your whys, and how do you keep going? So you have to have the passion. For me, my passion is to empower women, to have my own brand, um, for plus size or any kind of size, any sizes for women. So that's why my apparels are from 3XS to 6XL. So
Yeah.
that's my passion, to empower women. For Marvin, that's his passion is to create jobs. So yeah.
Wow. Talking about this, the when you make when you start your business, Mr. Ray, how is it important to have the legal papers? How will it help for an entrepreneur to start your business with legalities like registering your business, and how does it helps when your business when you start your business right with those papers, and how it helps when you go
Along the
as
way.
your business grow, yeah, along the way.
Yes. The expensive mistake that we have before when we started the business way back in 2015 is we did not have an accounting.
Hmm.
The first, yes, if you do not know accounting, you have to hire. The first person that you need to hire is an accounting, or just a contractor for once, or you have to trust a trusted accounting. Why? Because you would not know if you're losing or not. I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, we had expensive mistakes before. Um, we registered the business too quickly, even though it's still not operational. But yes, that's the legality. You just have.
Hmm.
I actually signed up. I'm actually a graduate of DTI
Hmm.
Mentor Me
Yeah,
program.
yeah.
It's
Can
a 12.
negosyo something, yeah.
Yes, it's 12 weeks. It's free. It's free. But I've learned a lot from DTI that you have to register your business. Even just your business name, you just have to register it. And then after, you would know that you would be registering it for BIR, since there are
Hmm.
sales coming in.
Hmm.
Because it's actually safe to register the business, because you can sleep well, and then later on, if the business grows big, then you won't have problems with your financial audit, or your if you want to loan in the bank, then you can use your
Hmm.
financial statements for that. So there are a lot. I'm not. This is just the tip of the iceberg, but
Yes, yes.
if you want to start the business, I suggest that you have to register it to DTI. You'd be surprised um, how many programs DTI can offer. They can even give you grants and funds. Um,
Wow.
yes,
Really? Funds?
yes, funds. The OST and DTI, they're actually giving during pandemic. They're actually giving small loans to the
Hmm.
micro and small businesses. So it's really good. It's really good that you tap. Do not be afraid with the government agencies. There are a lot of help from them. You have to maximize whatever the small businesses or the entrepreneurs can actually use for from DTI, DOST. There are a lot. I've actually used that. I mean, I have leverage with DTI. I had a couple of projects we did not close because of DTI during the pandemic, because we were guided what to
Hmm.
do next. So yes. So my advice is to register your business first, just with the registered name, and then the rest will follow. Do not be afraid. Always ask them. They're very friendly. I have
Yeah.
friends in DTI that you can ask me for numbers on how to register the business. So
Um, I'm very
yeah,
intrigued with that because many people are having hard time to start their business because they don't have the money to start with. Yeah. And they don't acknowledge that there are establishments in our government who are willing to assist us. And one of that, yeah, you have mentioned, one of my experience actually is going to this WD. Can you imagine that in this WD there is an option there to they will give you money around 5,000 to start for business, for student loans or something like that.
yes,
And I was shocked because I went there just to have a reimbursement of my son's um, hospital fee, because I've known that Cebu City is very generous when somebody gets sick. You can avail all this what they call this one, reimbursement program. So I went when I went there, I saw that this WD has this support for starting of business, and now you are saying that the OST and DTI is also doing the same.
yes,
Mr. Ray,
yes, they
I
are.
asked you about that one because um, I was going through to the cash flow of your when you have a business. How do you manage the cash flow when one part of your business is cannot maintain the cash flow? Is it wise to have many kinds of business, or just stick to one brand, or stick to many brands so that they can support each other? So what is your
My say
let us
on that:
yeah.
do not put your eggs in one basket.
Yes, yes,
It's
yes.
really true because right now, during the pandemic, pre-pandemic, Active Hub was not really doing quite well. It's just like it's our hobby, and Smart T-shirt was funding it, and now Active Hub is funding Smarties. So
Wow.
it's just yeah. So that's why do not put your eggs in one basket. You have to diversify. You would know when is the time to diversify. So, for example, if your other business are low in sales, then the other business can actually help. So that's why you have to have multiple streams of income. So for me, it's not just Active Hub. Uh, that's my means of income. I have other means of income. So that's why you have to be financially smart about your business and also your finances. So that's why.
I would love to know your say about this. If I am an entrepreneur, for example, I have this passion, and then this passion I started a business, and then after a while, it seems that I'm having hard time to maintain my business because it just started with a passion. And then what can you suggest for those people that they have the passion but they cannot keep their business and the cash flow intact together?
First, you have to have a business plan. You have to have a business plan. You have to have a projected sales, and you have to know by heart your expenses, what goes in and what goes out. So if you cannot consider that a business if you're still not earning, it's just a hobby. It's a hobby.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
always hear that from entrepreneur. If you are the second person who told me that one.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yes, you have the passion, but if if you are still not earning, then that's still not a business. It's a passion. It's a hobby. If you are not earning within a year, then you have to stop what you're doing. Yeah. But if you have the idea, if there some businesses thrive 3 to 5 years. That's if your business survives in five after 5 years, then you're considered stable. But do not just be complacent about it. But when you start a business, learn to control your OPEX as much as
OPEX.
possible. yeah, that's your operational expense. Your
Okay.
labor,
Very, very
sorry,
thorough.
your
Yeah.
labor, your rental. So you have to know by heart.
Okay.
If you know your operational expense, then you know how much sales are you going to make for the month. You have to know your break even points. So for me, for Active Hub, I know my break even, so I have to let them know if we go lower than this, then we have to make bawi the next day. If for this week we're quite low, then your salaries will be sacrificed, or so we have to find ways on how are we going to find your salary. The most difficult part of being an entrepreneur or a startup is always the salaries of your people. You have to make sure that it's actually intact, otherwise the morale will be low. But sometimes you have to let them understand that if you really cannot provide them salary, then you have to let them understand, hey, this is the situation. So you have to be transparent and honest with yourself. So that's what.
Okay, so let's go now to the active woman part in business. I'm I'm actually wanted to know personally if how do you deal as a business owner, being active in your business and your self-care. How do you manage the two when it comes to, I know how stressed you are when you have an event, and some people also might, some of your employees are saying something about you, right? So how do you manage all of that?
I don't know. I
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess
Um.
I have to manage it. No, the reason why I created Activa because we were really stressed. So I have to always find time, even just for meditation, in an hour for one day. Because creative ideas comes when we exercise or we meditate or we do physical activities. So I manage it. You have to have one day for yourself. Like for now, during a weekday, I did my nails.
Yes.
It's really important to detach from work so that you can have more ideas when you go back to work. So you always have to have your me time because it's difficult if the business owner goes into a burnout. I've tried that before. Like I don't like to work. My ideas just don't. I don't know. So that's why you have to take care of yourself. Just go out on the weekend, spend time with family. That's what we did because for this 1 year, um, we were able to keep the business, but it's still not as profitable as last year pre-COVID. Our goal is just to survive. So I think we are already in the right path. The vaccines are coming, and some of us have herd immunity already. So I'm hopeful that this pandemic will be over soon. So when the time comes that it's already over, then Smart Easy is still here, Active Hub is still here, and we have lesser competitors than before. So we would be the pioneers of whatever we're doing right now. So just continue what you're doing. Do not give up. There's always a way.
When you mentioned about a while ago about the burnout, I kind of, I'm kind of try to retract from that because I know that this is very common for highly effective people, and I want to know, Mr. Re, from your personal experience, why is it that these highly effective people, high performance personalities, are always experiencing burnout when it comes to when they have this, even though their businesses are from the outside, from us looking at the outside, is very successful, but from the inner part, what are those burnouts that common business owners are experiencing? Just a glimpse of
Good
that.
question.
Just a glimpse of
For
those.
us, yes. Um, you would know we are experiencing burnout because it's the level of stress that we're handling. It's not just finding sales. It's not just getting the employee salary. It's it's the safety of the employees and also the stability of the company. So it's not just a 9 to 5 job. It's when I wake up and close my eyes job. So I still
Mm.
think of the business. So even when we're sleeping, we can dream about the stress that we have. So that's why it's important to unwind, to avoid burnout. Because once you're ill or once you're sick, the company cannot replace you. So
Exactly.
you have to really take care of yourself.
Wow. So now I can understand why why you are so passionate with this active woman, and all it will just start from an apparel, but in a bigger picture, I know what you're trying to send in a message in there. That, yeah, you have to be confident with whatever you do as a woman, and I'm excited actually to have
Yes.
mine. And I cannot wait
Yes.
to buy that size. It's hard. It's
Yes.
hard. It's actually in my size. When you texted me that you have those sizes of those active wear, I'm very happy because it's
Mm.
hard for me to find my size.
Same
um,
problem.
yeah. uh, Mr. Ray, going to the side hustle now of your business and your personal struggles also. Um, is there any moment in your business that you have set the timeline? When do you want to end your business? When do you want to engage yourself? Not to end the business, but to engage yourself and just let it automatic. You know, let it flow automatically. When so
Automate the
did you come up
business.
with right now? Yeah. Did you ever think of
Yes,
that
I
right
did.
now?
I did. Mm. Yes, when you start a business, you have to have your 1 year plan, your 5 year plan, and your 10 year plan. You would. Um, so I plan that I need to automate the business when my management or my team is capable of making their own decisions. So I think we're getting there. By the time comes, then I will create another business so that we
Yeah,
can
yeah,
create that.
yeah.
Because when you're an entrepreneur, you can't stop. You can't stop
Mm,
creating ideas. You can't stop creating an impact in the society.
mm,
So
yeah.
that's my
Um,
advice to you as well.
yeah, 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 yeah. I can really feel that actually when you're saying it because I know I'm also a thriving entrepreneur on my own, and right now I'm still a solopreneur. And seeing you going now in that path is it's really an inspiration. That's why I was very excited to have you as my guest because all these questions that I'm asking now is just my personal question also that other people might be interested to know. And you know, to start a business is something that you you come up with an idea, and then to come up with an idea you have to support it financially, yeah,
Yes.
and then to come up to and to look for people who you can work with. And
Mm.
talking about the people that you can work with, how do you deal when you lose someone in from the team who is, you know, contributed worthwhile? So how do you manage that kind of, you know, for example, we are partners, and then and
Mm.
then suddenly when the business grow, you separated in such a way that this partner become your competitor. So how do you deal with that, Mr. Red? Or if some in your business it happens like that in the future, how will you
Good
deal with
question.
that?
Um, for that, I haven't really had that kind of an,
Experience yet?
scenario, yeah,
Yeah.
experience yet. But I think in the future, people will still. I mean, you can create your own apparel, you can create your own gym, but it's not gonna be the same as Active Hub, or it's not gonna be the same as
Yes.
Cosmos. It could be better or it could be less. So it's not gonna be an exact 100% copy of your business. So if ever he's gonna start or she's gonna start his own business, then I'm happy. I would be happy that he has learned a lot from me or from Marvin. So I like my boss, my previous boss in Singapore. He's happy where I am right now, and we're still communicating. So that's why you really cannot force a person to stay or not. You just really have to let them go if they it's time for them to spread their wings. So that's why you just have to be a sport and continue what you're doing and then let him do his own thing. So that's why it's just a friendly competition. There will always be a competition, and competition is good. So you can up your game in your line of field.
Wow, that's powerful. Yes. Um, I don't have any question in mind right now, but I'm very, very much inspired with what all you have shared this afternoon. I know that you've run a lot of business, and is there any chance in the future that you will go into food business, or you will just stick in this now? What I'm trying to say is it wise that in your kind of mindset, is it wise to invest in a food business or just stick in enterprise? Or what can you say about the two business, the two kinds of?
Whatever. Yes, food business is really good. People eat. Even in that's the only pandemic-proof business, the food business. So it's just a matter of how you market it, how you price it, or how you put that into the right perspective, the right timing. So why Food Panda and Grab are doing well? It's because of the need, perfect timing, because it's COVID, right? So for me, food business or not, whatever it is, if you're passionate about and you have a business plan for that, a concrete business plan, not just thinking it out of the blue, you have to write it down.
Yeah.
Because writing it down and seeing the numbers, if it's feasible or not, then that's the time that you will say, okay, I will register my business. But if you're just putting it in a passion, just a passion or a hobby, then just observe, and if the cash is coming in, then you have to write down your business plan, your marketing plan. So the good thing about an entrepreneur is you always find an opportunity in every problem. So that's how we thrive as an entrepreneur. So we love to solve problems. So in every problem there's a solution, and in every solution there's a dime in it. So that's why you just have to be passionate.
Do you believe, Mr. Red, that being an entrepreneur can be inherited? Because like for example, if your father is Henry C, yeah, and then you are born that you have already that kind of business and it's just transmitted to you. What is the advantage of like you? Are you born in a family of entrepreneurs, or you just no? So what do you think is the advantage of developing being an entrepreneur and being born with a family of entrepreneurs?
For me, I don't believe in hereditary. Um, it cannot be inherited. It can be trained and developed. I've seen some CEOs, really billionaires. I mean, I meet a lot of clients where they're 60 years old, 50 years old, but their children are not entrepreneur mindset. So it's really the passion. It's really it's how they're trained. I myself, I wasn't from an entrepreneur background. I was in a working background. My family comes from medical, like nursing and business people. But we are, but my husband's family is all entrepreneurs. So I got trained and it developed into a passion because of my husband and my mother-in-law. So that's why I don't believe in hereditary, because it can be trained. So do not believe that you cannot be an entrepreneur because your parents are not entrepreneurs. No. Henry C's family did not come from a very wealthy family, right? So it
Yes,
just
yes.
comes from how you hustle. So if you do not have parents who are entrepreneurs, then you have friends. You'd be surprised to know a fellow entrepreneur would really love to help another entrepreneur. So I love listening to stories about CEOs, like in TED Talk, and also in Cebu. There are a lot of entrepreneurs or CEOs who would love to share their ideas, their mistakes, their dumb mistakes. I would love to share my dumb mistakes in the past. So yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't believe in hereditary. It can be trained and developed.
Okay. Um, since you don't believe that this is hereditary, Miss Tere, can you walk us through when you say that you are hands-on with your business? What does it mean to be hands-on with your business for you?
Yeah. Being hands on doesn't mean that I have to micromanage. So you have to learn. There's a very thin line on being hands on and micromanaging, because it hands on meaning that you know the ins and outs of your numbers. You have to know your numbers. Business is a numbers game. You don't know the numbers game, then you do not deserve to be in the business. You will lose eventually.
Yes,
So
yes.
you have to have the right people. So if you have the right people, you have to learn to trust them. So for me, I trust Rex can manage, and he has an assistant. I trust that he can manage to do a system for the logistics and for the risks. So I just give him my instructions, what he needs to do, what he needs to accomplish, and then he does that. If he commits a mistake, then we will discuss what are his lapses and what can he do, or what is his action plan in the next events. So same as the other coaches. So I am hands-on, but I let them I leverage in their skills. I am not a technical person. I'm a marketing person. Rex, by the way, also, when you're hiring someone, you have to make sure that he complements your skills. Do not
Mm.
hire do not hire for cheap labor. That's what I've learned
Oh,
before. If it's a fresh graduate, it's gonna be difficult for you, especially when you're a startup. It's gonna be difficult for you because you have to train them. You have to hire them because you he can be a complementary tool to reach your goal. So you have an expert or somewhat, like for me, Juna, my assistant manager, she is very strict and very firm. She knows accounting well. She has admin tasks. She knows admin tasks. I don't like admin tasks. I do the marketing and sales. Rex does the technical stuff. So the three of us, I mean, my sister also. My sister, she is more of the admin task. So I don't do that.
mm,
So we complement each other. So if you're gonna train a fresh grad or you're gonna hire cheap labor, then you're still gonna do the work. Whereas if you're gonna hire someone, you don't necessarily have to have a big salary. Some people work because they're valued and they have
mm.
a purpose. It depends on you. How are you going to let them see your vision? So for me, I do profit sharing for them because it's a win-win for me. So they do the job, I do the job, and then we split every quarter. So that's why it's really important to hire the right people and not to hire fresh grads. That was the most expensive mistakes that we have learned before.
Second to the last question that I may ask, Miss Tere, how it is true that you have to separate your money, your business money from your personal money, and how does it intersect with each other? That your business money, when can you have your personal money go to the business money, and the business money go to your personal money?
You need to separate, and you need to pay yourself. By right, you need to pay yourself, because you would not know if you're losing or not if you're not going to pay yourself. You have to have a certain amount of salary in your business. That's why, like I said before, you have to have a business plan. In your business plan, you have to have your numbers, your how much is your rent, how much is your salary for your employees, how much is your salary. Usually, your salary is quite smaller compared to your employees. Just to really see the numbers.
Yeah.
And then how much is your utilities. So that's why. Then you have, for example, your OPEX is like 50,000. So I need to make 200,000 so that I can get a profit of 150. How are you going to do that? So you break down the points on how are you going to make that kind of sale for the month. Then after that, you review if you have met the quota or not. Then what's your next action plan? So it's all about the numbers don't lie. So you need to really put it into paper. You have to have a recording. So you can go, you know what to do next.
Yeah. Okay. So my last question maybe will be, what are those questions that an entrepreneur must ask for themselves when they are going to have a business? The three main questions that they can ask themselves so that they can start their business.
First is, what do I want to do when I'm already 50 or 60? What am I passionate about? Number two is, how am I going to make this a profitable one? How can I make this into a business? And third is, how am I going to make an impact to society? Because you cannot just create a business without an impact. It has to serve its purpose, because it's really important. The businesses, the consumers actually buy more if you hit the emotional branding. So, for example, support local. For me, Smarties Apparel, I promote the makers of our apparels, which are the seamstress. So people love the idea that we are helping them keep their jobs. So that's why. So you have to learn your whys and your hows. So for me, that's my top three.
Wow. And I said that was the last question, but I would really want to know what are the main and the most important realization that you had after many years of making business. You can also cite as many as you can, but those only that you are willing to share.
If I had to redo myself, if I had to mentor myself 5 years ago, I would tell myself like, Tere, you're going too fast. You're going too fast, and you're hiring fast. You're hiring fast. So when we were still starting, we hired a lot of people without a business plan. We just go like, kailangan man nato ba admins, hire ta, because the business, the sales were still up. But how about the next months that you will be like low in sales? Who's gonna pay for their salaries? Who's gonna pay for their salaries? So as much as possible, if you can still do it by yourself, don't hire. So
powerful.
Yes. And then second is, you have to have an accounting. If you do not have an accounting, there's free applications. I think it's QuickBooks, or you can do Excel. Excel. As long as you record your sales and your expenses, and then you know how much your profit is at the end of the month, then you're good. But if things or the sales are actually going up, then that's the time that you need to hire an accounting. For me, I have a number that I have in mind. I'm still doing the accounting at Active Hub. So for me, if the amount is gonna reach the quota that I have in mind, then that's the time I will hire an accountant. But for now, it's still manageable. So you don't need to hire. You can do it yourself. The most important thing is you know the numbers by heart. Even if you're sleeping, you know the numbers that this is my sales today. This is the expenses today.
Wow. Mr. Red, thank you very much that you have shared all these nuggets of wisdom about business. And it shows to me that you've done it well. You've done it well up to this moment. And I'm very, very fortunate that you're able to share it with my platform, all those the whereabouts of how you deal with your personal life and your business and how you started. I'm very grateful because listening to you, actually from the very beginning, if you will rewatch this one, from the very beginning, you already blow it out. You know, I was asking a while ago, I was asking myself, well, Mystery, there you go, the active woman. That's how she is. You know, so what we have discussed this afternoon is just the tip of the iceberg that you have shared. I know that there are a lot in that iceberg from the very bottom of that underlying stories that you can tell. And thank you very much for this opportunity of having you in my show. So if you have, how can if people wanted to connect with you and know more about you, how can they reach you?
I just have a Facebook account. It's Tere, so you can just message me. So feel free to message me if you want like business advice. I'm not really a consultant, but I can share my experience. So I'll be happy to help. Normally I reply at night because the daytime my work schedule is crazy. So yes, you can reach me. Also, Nifai, thank you so much. This has been a breather for me because it's not a routine in my week. So if I get to enjoy and talk to another person, another empowerment. So I'm really hopeful that you can also be running your own empire. So I'm really excited for that. So do not hesitate to message me if you need advice on the business side or registering your business for your other businesses. I have I can give you contacts in DTI, DOST. So no worries about that.
That's what I learned actually having friends, and I think one of the thing that I've learned in doing all this stuff is you have to know the people whom to connect to so that you can. That's very important because they can tell you the exact thing that you need to know when you want to explore this kind of business. And Mr. is one of that. I guess Mr. when somebody will message you, pwede ba mag-loan? So, doon pa lang sabay mo tubag.
At tumug-viewers.
Yeah. And I just want to make it clear, no? Kasi when we say people that you can reach us, you can message us. Sometimes there are boundaries also that you might consider asking us, no? We cannot. We might give you some if we have extra, but to that extent, no, you should also know what to ask